Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jack Bree. I got Rich with me, and I got Yogi with me. And y'all tune into the People State. This is episode 3. Today we're going to talk about the trial of Derek Chauvin. He stands accused of murdering George Floyd last May on the 25th. He's being charged with murder, and he's also being charged with manslaughter. So the first day, Jerry Blackwell from the state, he began to put everything, in the retrospect. Of course, the video was played 9 minutes and 46 seconds, the entirety of what happened. So before I go any further with this, I'm gonna give the floor to y'all to say what it is that you got to say about anything regarding to the topic so far.
I'm still confused, to be honest, over was it a counterfeit 20 or was it a bad check? Like, I'm not really sure what the actual reason for the stop was. Now I just caught up today, so I don't know if I missed it maybe, but even if how is any of this justified for a bad 20 or a counterfeit check? Like, but continue.
Okay, so from what I heard and from what I seen and from what I heard, it was supposedly a counterfeit 20, but of course it was not. There was nothing about the situation that was justified at all. And I know, Rich, when I say this, you can attest to it. So let's just say, for the sake of this argument, that it's a bunch of us and we deployed, and we're dealing with the people, of whatever country that we in. It don't even have to be one in the Middle East. Any country throughout the world. If we are handling, possible prisoners, then everything that happened on May 25th, 2020 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, all that was a no-go. We would still be, in the brig to this day, if we're, even if we're still alive. And I think that, the Geneva Convention is something that law enforcement, should use. Because if we care about people, who aren't our neighbors, who aren't our relatives, enough to treat them with dignity and respect, then the same thing should happen over here, when we get back.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing to a friend of mine. I was telling him, I was like, throughout my years in the service, um, dealing with detainees and things of that nature, like I've never seen nobody get handled like that before. Um, and these people killed people, and we know they killed people. You know what I'm saying? And like they still didn't get, you know, mistreated and you know disrespected like that. So I have a hard time with any reason that anybody can give for that. You detained him. He wasn't being aggressive. He didn't have a weapon. What's the point of keeping the knee to the back of the neck? And it's just you. It's not like it's, 5, 6 other officers around trying to restrain him. It's just you by yourself. So if you are able to restrain him at that point, there was no further necessary for the knee. It's sad though. It's sad that, like you were saying, that people can care about somebody else that's not even in the same country like that enough to give them enough decency and respect to not treat them like that. And we can't, not even we, but people can't get that here. It's crazy. I don't care what nobody say. He should fry his ass. So,
I heard you. And it was 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Whatever I said before, excuse me. But now, the way that things are set up. So normally, when you see a trial, especially like a real big one, the defendant is black, the defense may or may not be black, the prosecution is normally white. This time it looked kind of inverted, kind of like it's in a parallel universe. To be honest, the lead prosecutor is black, the defendant is white, the defense is white. So sometimes, while since I've been watching it, I've had to remember who is who, because when we watch trials in this country, it's so set up to where the defendant may look like us, that is actually a little confusing. And we going into day 3, and it's still confusing me. And I've watched every second that I could, minus getting up and going and having to do something else. But one thing that was said is that they did talk about the manner in which he died. And to make a long story short, he died from dying, almost like natural causes. But but how it happened, the coroner put that it was a homicide, meaning that someone killed him. And of course, in America, we have a right to a speedy trial. However, to me, it's cut and clear, and not necessarily to the knee to the for the knee to the neck, because we focus on the knee on the neck a lot. But what we haven't much talked about is the fact that he was face down with his hands behind his back, and he had a knee in his back, with all of Derek Chauvin's weight on it. Now, if you know anything at all about wrestling and holds and whatever the case is, martial arts, mixed martial arts, whatever the case is, you know that if something is squeezing your lungs, you can let air out, but you ain't gonna get the air back. And I'm me looking at it, I'm thinking like that's probably more so how he killed him, as opposed to the blood choke on the side of the neck.
I didn't even think about it like that.
I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. It is wild to me that it wasn't just Derek though. Like, it was like 3 other dudes over there that was on the same mission. Like, and they was all about like restraining this man that didn't need restraint. At what point? At what point is this crazy? At what point is this asinine? At what point is this no longer reasonable? Like, what's the line between reasonable and excessive? Is my question. Like, because this looks excessive, but that's yet to be proven, especially when dealing with us. So, like, what does it take? Is this it?
Well,
I pass.
Well, according to and I want to call him the state's attorney, but I'm not quite sure if it was the state's attorney that said it or just somebody on the prosecution team. But the way that they had him, it used to be called a hog tie. He did say the term that it's called now, but for those of us that know what a hog tie is, it was a hog tie, which is something that for the Minneapolis Police Department is actually illegal in itself. Like, they were never supposed to take it to that point. If they do, get a detainee to where they face down, they immediately supposed to move them over on the side so that they can breathe. So they did say that that thing, that specific move was definitely illegal, and it makes perfect sense, because I'm a fairly sizey guy. It don't matter. Like, if a 10-year-old is putting all their weight on me and I can't move because my hands are behind my back, which is also pushing my chest out, and it's on the ground and that person's on top of me, yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot of air. But the defense stated that everything, of course, because that's what they're supposed to do. They said that everything was justified, and if you watched, yesterday and today, the defense, they're trying to make it seem as if the people who were there didn't see what they actually saw. Like trying to make it seem like they professional. The police were professional and so on and so forth. So with that being said, it's going to kind of take me back. I might jump back, to military service a couple of times. If say me and Rich are the ones that's doing the detainee crap, and I got my knee in somebody back, he obligated. He know I'm breaking it. So either he gonna get me up off him, or if I get caught and he the other one that's there, he just as guilty, if not more so, than I am. So we as an entire country, we have to go in and revamp how it is that police handle the citizens. Let's see, I had another note that I wanted to talk about. Okay, today the a young lady, I think she was 17 at the time. I think she just turned 18. Um, she said that she stayed up late at night apologizing to George Floyd for something that she had no control over. She was like, it wasn't even supposed to be her that was supposed to be, being, asking for forgiveness. It was supposed to be Derek Chauvin that was supposed to be asking for forgiveness. I'm gonna let y'all speak on that.
Who was she?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Who was she?
I don't remember her name, but she was one of the ones that was recording video.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think that she was. Now that I think about it, she's the one that recorded the video that we all saw, and she
So
had.
that
And she,
you know, I don't even. Is he even allowed to talk right now? Like, could anybody talk or question him right now, or ask him to give a statement or something like that?
well, remember that just as much as he has the right to take the stand, he don't have to take it either, and it hasn't been stated one way or another if he will. Um, I myself believe that him taking the stand would probably be the worst thing for his case. I think he need to do basically what OJ did, let the lawyers do all the talking in order for him to have any chance at all. But the young lady who recorded the video, she had her at the time 8-year-old cousin with her, and she also took the stand today. And she didn't remember everything, but she remembered enough. And that was really sad because now you start talking about trust in the police, and people say, oh well, why don't black people trust the police, why don't these people trust the police? Well, when you killing folks in front of 8-year-old children, that young lady gonna remember that for the rest of her life. And what is she supposed to do?
Because to her, she's been taught her whole life that they're supposed to be there to protect. You know, if anything was to happen, you're supposed to go to the police. But now she got this lasting memory in her head at a young age where they kind of did their job, but then they didn't do their job because they didn't stop. You know, and it's just like you were saying, it's sad that somebody even had to see something like that. It's sad that that lady has to apologize to him because he hasn't said that he was sorry for this not once since all of this happened. And that's why I asked, was he allowed to make a statement or something like that before? Because I don't know if they went if they took him straight to jail after the incident, or if he was out for maybe a couple of days before then. But if he was out, there was something to have been said, an apology, even if it was fake, an apology, something, right? Even the force is supposed to force him to put out a statement or something. Nobody said nothing. And, you know, that I'm not going to say that leads me to believe that he did it on purpose, right? Because I don't believe that he tried to kill him on purpose, but I do believe that he was very aware of what was going on. And like I keep saying, this at a certain point, there's no need to be on him no more. He's handcuffed. Even if he was to get up and run away, he can't run that far. He handcuffed. I don't know if you ever try to run with your hands behind your back, but it ain't easy. It really ain't that easy. So, and then you have a rule, going back to what you were saying earlier, they have a rule about him being, in that certain position. So that right there, it's an open and shut case to me. That sounds like a dereliction of duty, and I don't. If this trial takes a long time, I'm not gonna say I'll be shocked, but I'm gonna be shocked because, that's them trying to protect their boy. This should be open and shut. This shit should have been done a long time ago. Long time ago. I didn't know nothing about that rule, but now that I know about that rule, this should have been done a long time ago. You can't tell me that the officers know that you're not supposed to have a suspect in that position, but yet for 9 minutes he was protected while he had that gentleman in that position. He had the other officers surrounding him, protecting him while he was putting a knee to the back of his neck. And not once nobody said, "Get up, bro. Hey, it's done. It's over." So